very much for joining me today. I'm sure everybody's interested in hearing your insights to the questions that we're asking here today. First of all, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, so I'm Balaji Gunaseelan. I work in Mercury Engineering under the data center sector. I'm currently the commissioning manager for a few projects ongoing in our industry, predominantly within the Frankfurt region. And I also worked a lot in the sustainability side of data centers. And yeah, that's where I am.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. The first question I've got for you today, Balaji, is you've developed very quickly in your career to the role that you're currently in with Mercury. What skills do you feel contributed towards that the most?
It's actually two parts of it. One is the technical side of it. So I started as a junior engineer in Mercury about 3.5 years ago, and right now I am the commissioning manager in charge of projects. So it started off with very basic understanding of electrical systems and mechanical systems. Nothing too major, and just person skills, people skills. So as long as you can manage a tight schedule, as long as you can manage the pressure when it comes to the projects, and enough technical know-how, it shouldn't be an issue. As you know, the industry is growing, so there's a lot of opportunities for any new entries, as long as they have the drive and they're passionate enough. With just a little bit of technical knowledge is enough, because data centers are very simple buildings in the grand scheme of things, because it's not a hospital, it's not a pipeline. You just have water in, water out, power in, power out. That's all there is to it. So it's very basic stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel a lot of engineers develop as much as possible on the technical side and maybe forget to develop the soft skills part of their career. I suppose, is that something that you feel that maybe more emphasis should be put on?
Oh, 100%. So technical side, at least within our sector, is it's nothing major. It's more about what you learn during when you do the job, get started with, but the soft skill part of it, how you handle the pressure, how you handle the clients, how you handle your subcontractors, and also there's a nuance to it. Everyone has their own way of doing things, and you have to work around it. And sometimes you have to get different parties with different goals to align to a common goal, and that's essentially where you balance it out with the hard deadline. So that's the tricky part. It's the soft skills that affect it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next question I've got for you then, what benefits can there be to taking a role that you may be overqualified for?
It's a lot, actually. It goes down to attrition, in my opinion. So once you start in a company, so a little bit more detail into my background is I did a bachelor's in mechatronics engineering, and then I did a master's in robotic systems, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And I started as a junior engineer in construction. So the whole thing is an attrition thing, because I came in running around site, talking to contractors, making them understand what a cable is. And with all the skill sets you already have, it feels to a certain point demeaning. But that's not the case, though, because something I realized, again, tying back to the previous question, how you grow up fast, is you have to be good at a job above you. So if you want to be a manager and you're an engineer, you have to be good at being a manager. You could be an excellent engineer, but then you're not a good manager. So always try to be better at a job above your level, and that gives you, as you're overqualified, that gives you better options to do it, and it also gives you a quick career path. And especially in our sector where everything is growing, like you'll do very well then.
Yeah, definitely. So it's almost having that foresight, that future vision to see yourself in that next role and work towards that whilst also completing your duties in the role that you're in at the moment.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Yeah, very good advice. Thank you very much. And finally, then, the other question I wanted to ask was, mistakes, they're inevitable, aren't they? So how have you trained your mindset personally to overcome them as a leader?
This one, we can actually take it in two parts. First of all, we need to understand mistakes are inevitable. Everyone has to understand that. But that doesn't mean you can just go around doing whatever you feel like you want to do and then say, oh, mistakes were always inevitable. You have to actually put in your best effort to make sure the mistakes are well. Um, yeah. avoided at all costs. But well, when it happens, the issue is how you handle it. Well, a mistake happened. It's not much you can do about it. So all you can do is handle it. That's where the critical part comes. So as a leader, and not just as a leader, as an employee for a company, as a member in a team, as any entity in a unit, it's very important on how you handle your mistakes. So the expectation is how you have, like everyone has an expectation over how a mistake has to be handled. So let's say you're an engineer and then your manager has a way of handling the issue. So we need to be aware of that. We need to make sure that if there is blowback, that's always going to be blowback. It's managed and everyone is happy over the outcome. Again, everyone knows mistakes are inevitable, but a mistake could be very badly managed, which could end up with time and cost, or a mistake could be very well managed and with minimum loss of time or cost, or a mistake could turn into an opportunity. And that's the concept of crisis management. And that's something, again, everyone needs to experience. Your first fire is never going to be pretty, but then again, that's where you learn, that's where you get the experience from.
Yeah, that's a really great mindset because I think, as you say, if you see it more so as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to develop, not only does it, I suppose, take that fear away of making the mistake, but, ultimately it should hopefully help you to train yourself better, as you say, in that crisis management and that sort of mindset around, taking
Exactly.
risks and managing those mistakes.
And that's where you actually train yourself, because if you're very risk averse, it's going to be hard to be where we are in our industry right now. So there's a certain level of risk appetite everyone has. Every GC has it, every individual engineer has it. There's a risk appetite, and we just have to manage it. We have to be aware that you're happy with the risk you're taking and you are happy to deal with the blowback.
Definitely. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your insights into all three topics there, and I'm sure everybody else listening would as well.